Hello friends, in this video we shall learn about the first Anglo-Afghan war from 1839 to 1842. And the first question is that who fought the war? So the war was fought between the British East India Company and Afghanistan. And what happened? The British were afraid that Russia might take control over Afghanistan and attack India. So they wanted to control Afghanistan in order to stop Russia. Okay. And during those days, Afghan ruler was Dost Muhammad Khan. So the British removed him and made Shah Shuja the king. Because Shah Shuja was in friendly relations with the British. And British army captured Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan, in 1839, but Afghan people did not like Shah Shuja and started fighting back. So let's see. To create a permanent barrier against the invasion from the northwest, the British invaded Afghanistan and entered Kabul in August 1839. Dost Muhammad surrendered in 1840 and Shah Shuja was made the Amir of Afghanistan. But Shah Shuja was unacceptable to the Afghans, and as soon as the British withdrew, the Afghan rebelled, forcing the British to sign a treaty with Afghan chieftains in 1841, and they agreed to evacuate Afghanistan and reinstate Dost Muhammad. The British captured Kabul in September 1842, but this time they agreed to a truce with Dost Muhammad that required evacuation of Kabul and recognition of the Dost Muhammad as independent ruler of Afghanistan. So what happened? First, understand who was John Lawrence. He was a British officer who took care of India for the British from 1864 to 1869. And what did he do? He made a special rule called masterly inactivity. It means don't fight if there is no need. Why did he make this rule? Because the last time, in the first Afghan war, the British went to fight and lost badly. So John Lawrence said, let's not fight unless there is a very big reason to fight. What were the two rules in this policy? The two rules were, first, there should be peace on the border, no fighting near the edge of India, and second, no one should get help from outside countries in their fighting civil war in Afghanistan. So what happened? That Afghan king Dost Muhammad died in 1863 and his son became king peacefully, and there were no big fight. So what did John Lawrence do then? He said good job and tried to be friends with the new king. So what is masterly inactivity? It means to stay calm and don't jump into every fight, wait and watch. And John Lawrence believed that peace and friendship were better than war. So John Lawrence in 1864 to 1869 initiated the policy of master in action, which was a response to the first Afghan war. Lawrence's policy was based on the fulfillment of two conditions: that the peace on the border is not disturbed and foreign help will not be given to any candidate in the civil war. Even when Dost Muhammad died in 1863, there was no war of succession, and Sher Ali established himself on the throne, and Lawrence tried to foster friendship with him. The next is Lytton and the policy of proud reserve. So understand that who was Lord Lytton? He was the Viceroy of India from 1876. And what did he want to do? He wanted to keep India safe from enemies like Russia. So he called out a plan of proud reserve. And what does this proud reserve mean? It means stay strong and protect your land, but don't act unless needed. And what did he say about Afghanistan? He said India's relation with Afghanistan must be clear, so there should not be any confusion, and they must talk and decide clearly. And the main idea was that he wanted to make the border safe for India and keep friendly control over the nearby places like Afghanistan. So Lytton became the Viceroy of India in 1876. He introduced a new foreign policy of proud reserve, aimed at keeping scientific boundaries and protecting the sphere of influence. According to Lytton, relations with Afghanistan can no longer be left ambiguous. The next is Second Anglo-Afghan War from 1870 to 1880. So what did Lord Lytton offer to Sher Ali? He gave him a friendly treaty in a written agreement and wanted to be friends. And what did Sher Ali want? Sher Ali wanted to be friends with both Russia and Britain, but he didn't want British people to stay in his capital, Kabul. Now, there is a question that did Lord Lytton like that? So the answer is no. He was very upset with Sher Ali refused the British envoy. And then what happened next? Lytton decided to send the British army to attack Afghanistan, and Sher Ali got scared and ran away. So what was the result? The Sher Ali's son, Yaqub Khan, signed a peace treaty. This peace treaty was called as Treaty of Gandamak in May 1879 with the British. So let's see what is written over here. Lytton offered Sher Ali a favorable treaty, but wanted friendship with both Russians and the British. But later, Sher Ali refused to keep the British envoy in Kabul, which displeased Lytton. And when Russian withdrew his envoy from Afghanistan, Lytton decided to invade Afghanistan. Facing the British invasion, Sher Ali fled, and Treaty of Gandamak in May 1879 was signed with Sher Ali's eldest son Yaqub Khan. So this is all about Second Anglo-Afghan War. The Treaty of Gandamak in May 1879. Under this treaty, the treaty signed after the Second Anglo-Afghan War and contained this provision. The Amir will conduct his foreign policy with the advice of the Indian government. Permanent British resident to be stationed in Kabul. The Indian government will provide the assistance to Amir against the foreign invasion. But soon, under public pressure, Yaqub had to abdicate the throne, and the British had to recapture Kabul and Kandahar. Abdur Rahman became the new Amir, and Lytton planned the disintegration of Afghanistan but could not implement it. But Ripon decided on the policy of keeping Afghanistan as a buffer state. After World War I and the Russian Revolution in 1917, Afghans demanded complete independence. Habibullah, who succeeded Abdur Rahman in 1901, was killed in 1919, and the new ruler Amamullah declared open war against the British. Peace came in 1921 when Afghanistan gained independence in foreign affairs. So what happened? After British won the Sindh in 1843 and Punjab in 1849, the British land got bigger and came close to Baluch and Pathan tribes. Okay, and why was Afghanistan worried in 1891 to 92? The British took over Hunza, a place in the mountain near Afghanistan, which made the King Abdur Rahman worried. So how the problem was solved? They made a clear border line between the British land and the Afghan land, and this was like the India-Pakistan border letter. And what happened after that? So there were a small fight near the border until 1898, and the Lord Curzon became Viceroy during 1899. And what did the Lord Curzon do? He followed a new plan. British soldiers moved back, and local tribal people were given jobs to keep peace, and he created the Northwest Frontier Province to control the area better. So let us see what is written over here. British India and the Northwest Frontier. The conquest of the Sindh in 1843 and annexation of Punjab in 1849 extended the British frontier beyond the Indus and brought them in contact with the Baloch and Pathan tribes. British occupation of Hunza city in Gilgit Valley during 1891 to 92 worried Abdul Rahman, who was the Amir of Afghanistan, and compromise was finally reached by drawing the boundary line between the Afghan and the British territories known as the Durand Line. But the Durand Pact in 1893 failed to maintain the peace, and tribal rebellion soon broke out, which continued until 1898. When Curzon became Viceroy between 1899 to 1905, he followed a policy of withdrawal and concentration, and British troops withdrew from advanced posts, and which were replaced by the tribal levies. And he also encouraged the tribal to maintain peace and created the Northwest Frontier Province and brought it directly under the government of India. Overall, Curzon's policy resulted in a peaceful Northwest Frontier Province. In January 1932, it was announced that the Northwest Frontier Province would be constituted as a governor's province, and this province belongs to Pakistan since 1947. This is all in this chapter, and next we will discuss chapter 6, which is People's Resistance against the British before 1857. Till then, keep learning. This is all in this video. Thank you.